Hey there, guys, and welcome to another Factorio Mod Spotlight. I'm Exterminator, and thank you for joining me today. And today we're covering the Chunky Chunks mod, I believe is what this is called. So this is a mod that allows you to have configurable grid lines, as you can see here. Now, there's quite a lot of options with this, which I'll go over. In Factorio, there is a debug option that you can go into that will enable grid lines and tile grid lines, and it shows chunk outlines, but it also the debug option shows every single tile line as well, which can be quite annoying, to be honest, especially if you're trying to align things to a chunk rather than to actual tiles in the game, because then it's just kind of clutter. So if we go here and show tile grid, this is what it looks like. So it can be nice, you can see individual tiles. You can see the grid, which is actually fairly easy to see, but all these can still kind of get, annoying to see through and stuff. So there's that. But this mod, I have this on right now. This is showing me both the outline of a chunk and then also the center of the chunk, which is very nice. And I've toggled this just on and off with this button here. There are settings to make it turn on when you have alt mode enabled, like I do here, which I'll show you in a second. There's all kind of settings with this. You can change the whole size of it if you want to, say, align things to like substations or roboport, coverage size, or even like radar coverage size or whatever if you have a gigantic blueprint. Or just any custom size you want, which is really, really nice. So if we go into settings and mod settings under per player, there are a ton of options. So grid one, you can say it's either disabled, always enabled, or enabled when alt mode is enabled. So we could just say alt mode, for example. And I've set the grid size to be 32, which is a default chunk size in Factorio. It's 32 by 32 tiles. This gives you a very good explanation. All these settings have very good written explanations. But this gives some examples. Substations are 18, big poles are 30, roboport logistics are 50/110, being for logistic and construction range. Radar active/scanning is 224, etc. So it also says two values separated by a space gives you control of width and height independently. So if you just want to set, if you don't want a square, if you want something that's a rectangle or whatever, you can change these to just, have them be spaced different and stuff. So let's just say we want something to be aligned, with like a roboport logistic coverage. We could set this to 50, for example. And then you can do offsets. So two values separated by a space gives you control of XY offset. You can do spacing, so there's like it leaves like actual spaces between the grids. So this allows you to make squares that are spaced. This value away from where spaced by this value away from where the line would otherwise be. Negative value give you crosses at the chosen size instead. So you could have like grids that like cross if you want to do it like where two grids intersect or something like that. You can mess with this however you want. You can change the color as well. So by default, this is green, which was really hard to see. But I changed it to red, which is 100. This goes into it a bit more. Set red, green, blue, and alpha components. That's values from 0 to 1, separated by a space. Alpha is optional and defaults to 1. So there we go. You can have it show center marking or not. And you can have multiple grids as well if you would like. So let's just, for example, say that we want to have this grid on as well. And let's set this one to 100. I believe, was it 100? Yeah, 110. So we can have like the construction range of the roboport. And this one, I'm not quite sure. I don't know I think that's green, but let's just have it be, I don't know what color this is going to be, but see what that is, I suppose. And we probably don't need center markings for that. And then you can have a third one as well. So I'm going to confirm and do that. And here we go. So there's, this looks a little funky. But once we actually look at it a bit farther, we can see. So the red one here, this is, again, it's kind of confusing. The red one is the 50 for the logistic range, and then the blue ones are 110 for the construction range. With them overlapping, it gets a little bit wonky. But one thing, so like if I go in and give myself cheat mode here, and then grab a RoboPort, we could kind of see. So if we find the middle of all this, so let's just come up here. If we find the middle, then theoretically, you know, they kind of intersect oddly, so you would have to mess with these settings. But like you can see, that exactly is how big the red one is. And then if we do this, this is exactly how big that is. Now, if we want to, you know, not have both on at once, so it's a bit less confusing, we could turn off this one, for example, and just have that one, which makes this a little bit easier. You know, you put the row port in the center, that's going to be how it's aligned. And then, you know, for example, if I just want to line this up exactly on a chunk, I can do this. Obviously, the steam engines are offset a little bit, but just that's just due to the build. You know, if you want to line the belt and stuff, this just makes it really, really nice. You can change the size again however you want, the color however you want. You can have things overlapping if you want, as well as spacing. And this is just really, really nice. Again, if you want it always on with alt mode on, you can do that. Or if you want to just toggle it on and off, you can do that as well. And then, of course, that's just by doing that, that's toggling the other one back on. So there you go, guys. That's going to do it for this. Definitely worth just looking at all those settings and customize it basically however you want. But hopefully this gave you a good overview of it. There is, as always, a link in the description to the mod portal page where you can check this out, where there's more info and such there. And if you like building mega bases, like your stuff really, you know, neat and tidy and well arranged, I highly suggest this mod. And there you go. Any questions, thoughts, leave them below. And until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.